Hello there yogis, and welcome to Yoga with Andrea, where today we're going to focus on keeping our backs healthy. So just taking a moment to sit in a comfortable cross-legged position with the hands at the heart in Anjali Mudra. Taking a moment to settle in and deepen the breath, focusing on attaining that healthy back today. And then coming to rest at the back of our mat, we're going to begin in child's pose. So lowering onto our heels, sitting back on the heels, forearms outstretched, palms flat on the mat, forehead resting on the floor, the back of the neck is nice and long. And this is a nice, deep, restful pose which releases lower back tension and creates some space between the vertebrae of the spine. And then coming onto all fours, ready for some cat stretches. So on an inhale, we're going to lift the head and chest. Exhaling, rounding the spine, looking towards the navel, checking the position of the hands below the shoulders, knees below the hips. Moving with the breath. So inhaling as you lift the head and chest. Exhaling, rounding. You may wish to rock forwards and backwards to really get into the muscles around the spine, to find that sweet spot. Then lowering from the top of a push-up into our first baby cobra. So for this, the shoulder blades are rolling down the spine, elbows are tucked in, palms are at the lower ribs. Exhaling, pedaling out into our first downward facing dog of the sequence. So the fingertips are spread broadly, the drishti or the gaze is towards the mat. Tailbone is lifting. Then stepping out about 3 to 4 feet apart towards the long edge of the mat. Inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, folding forwards, lowering the head towards the floor. Planting the left palm between the legs, lifting up with the right palm towards the ceiling or the sky. Exhaling, releasing. Inhaling with a nice flat back, twisting towards the opposite side, so looking up towards the left fingertips. Exhaling, releasing the neck, forehead towards the floor. Stepping back into a plank pose, top of a push-up. A nice long line from the back of the neck down towards the heels, then lowering with control towards the mat. Resting on the elbows, shoulder blades rolled back, forearms on the floor. Releasing the lower back in Sphinx pose with the heels rolled towards one another. And then resting, releasing the left ear to the mat. Inhale, lift the chest and legs. Belly is strong here. Into our locust pose. And relaxing. Right ear to the floor. Setting up for our second Shalabhasana locust pose. This time arms are airplaned out behind the body. Thighs are spiraling in towards one another. Then inhaling into upward facing dog. So for this, the pubic bone is lifted up off the mat, resting on the tops of the feet. Palms are planted broadly. Exhaling, reversing into downward facing dog to release the neck, the spine, stretching out the calf muscles. Then lowering into plank all the way down onto our bellies on the mats. Setting up for locust variation. This time the arms are outreached ahead of the body, palms are facing to lengthen the side body. And resting. Loosening all effort. So in our locust variation, what we're doing here is we're isolating the muscles around the spine that support the spine. And we're using the stomach muscles, which also has a beneficial effect of protecting the spine. Walking the hands to the back of the mat, reaching for the opposite elbows into a forward fold variation. You may find it feels beautiful to gently rock from side to side or swing from side to side. This can feel beautiful on the hips. Inhaling with a flat back, stepping forwards into a low lunge with sacral support. So the elbows are tucked in behind the body towards one another, squaring off the hips towards the front of the mat, sinking into that low lunge, which stretches out the hip flexors, but supporting the spine with the palms, lifting the back knee off the floor for a little extra stretch and extra leg strengthening here, lifting the chest and head. Into a small vinyasa, lowering to the floor, inhaling into upward facing dog, exhaling, reversing into downward facing dog, stepping forwards this time with the left foot, lowering the right knee to the floor, squaring off the hips, supporting that lower spine with the hands, lifting the chest, tucking the back toes under, perhaps for a little extra leg strengthening, lifting that back knee, hold, and slowly releasing the top of the foot back on the floor, and resting into extended child's pose. So after working the muscles around the spine, we're now creating some space and releasing the effort and giving ourselves time to catch our breath. And then gently spinning onto our back, we're going to set up next into our bridge pose or Setu Bandha. So bringing the heels towards the body, dusting the backs of the ankles, the tips of the fingertips, outer edges of the feet are parallel, pulling up strongly on the pelvic floor muscles and the lower abdominal muscles here, lifting up the hip points towards the ceiling, being careful that the knees do not splay out towards the side, keeping the back of the neck nice and long so we're not crunching the cervical spine. And then releasing, relaxing, perhaps with the knees resting against one another, one hand on the heart. And again, setting up for a second, bridge pose. For a little extra frontal body stretch here, you may wish to interlace the fingers behind the back, rolling the shoulder blades underneath towards one another. Again, planting the feet firmly equidistant from one another with the outer edges of the feet parallel, lifting up those hip points. And then slowly releasing one vertebra at a time. Resting with one hand on the heart, one hand on the power center at the belly. Just catching our breath. And again, so choosing your variation. So whether the palms are still on the mat here or whether the fingers are interlaced. And the bridge pose can be quite energizing, moving energy up through the spine. It's also a chest and heart opener. So it can make you feel quite energized and revitalized after practice. And exhaling, tucking the chin towards the chest, drawing the knees up towards the chest to release those muscles around the spine, perhaps making some small hip circles. And then setting up for thread the needle. So for this, the right knee is above the left. So the right ankle is above the left knee. The toes are active, so pointing up towards the sky, and you'll be reaching out behind the left thigh or the left knee, wherever feels comfortable, drawing that knee towards the chest until you find a nice stretch in the lower back, the glute muscles and the muscles of the thigh, spiraling that right knee away from the body to get into that hip. Bringing the arms to a T, rolling the legs off towards the left hand side, looking out over your right shoulder into a gentle spinal twist to tone the spine, increase flexibility here. And again, it's a lovely lower back stretch. Then drawing the knees back to center, switching the cross of the feet, so this time it's the left ankle above the right knee. Spiral that left knee away from the body, out towards the back of the mat, drawing that right knee or the right thigh towards the chest until you feel that nice stretch in the glute, the lower back, the back of the thigh. Keeping the toes nice and active, which firms the leg muscles. Again, arms to a T. Rolling over with the legs towards the right hand side, looking out over the left shoulder if that's available to you today and okay on your neck. The belly is relaxed here. Spine is twisting. Then inhaling, drawing both knees towards the chest. And then reaching for the outer edges of the feet, drawing the knees towards the armpits. And perhaps gently rocking from side to side. This is a lovely back massage. Also beautiful to get into the hips. And then setting up for your Shavasana or your final resting pose. So legs might be extended, or the knees might be bent and resting against one another to ensure that the lower back is flush and in contact with the mat underneath you. Rolling the palms up towards the sky. If the legs are extended, just allowing those feet to flop open gently towards the side. Tucking the chin slightly towards the chest, just to lengthen the top of the spine, the cervical spine here. Keeping that neck nice and long. Then loosening the effort. Releasing. Relaxing. All the hard work is done. After all that twisting and bending, and after the energy moving up the spine in our bridge pose, you may feel the heart beating a little faster, and now it is time to just allow the breath to return to its natural state, allowing that breath to breathe you. And then slowly preparing the body to move. Falling off towards the right hand side with the knees drawn in towards the chest. Pausing for a moment in gratitude for all that you've achieved and done to keep your back healthy. Then as you're ready, returning to a cross-legged seated position, hands at the heart. Thank you so much for your practice today. Please like and subscribe to my channel, my Yoga with Andrea channel, and I hope to see you next time. Namaste.